So today we are going to start looking from the Dhyana shlokas that are there. So last time we discussed about the 6 questions that were asked in introductory videos, also you can find that. 6 questions that were asked by Yudhishthira, and then Bhishmacharya gives an answer that worship the Lord Krishna or Vishnu is the soul who is there always, whom you should, or Vishnu is the soul who is there always, whom you should worship. There is no other way for that. So now, before telling the 1000 names of Lord Vishnu, Bhishmacharya talks about the beauty of Lord Vishnu. Now all of us also, before we start talking about something or some person, we give a background, right? Something or some person, we give a background, right? Oh, this is how this person looks. Or if you're looking, we're going to meet someone for the first time, what do? We give an introduction of the person. Okay, this person looks like this, his hair is like this, his body is like this, he would have worn a red shirt, or he'll have this pant. So we give a description. So similarly, the Dhyana shlokas are like the purpose of Dhyana shlokas, wherein if we have to meditate on the Lord, we need a form. Now, when stotras like Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama and other stotras were composed, we did not have the practice of idol worship like we have today. Because God himself was present there. Lord Krishna was very much present when Bhishmacharya and Yudhishthira were talking. No temples, idols were not worshipped at their houses and so on. But as we do today, it was not so in those times, because today we don't have live gods. We can't say, oh, Krishna is amidst me, sitting next to me, Rama is sitting next to me. No. So for us today, the only soul worship is idol worship. We go to temples and worship Lord and so on. Therefore these Dhyana shlokas were, for any shlokas you take, not only the Vishnu Sahasranama, for any shloka that we take, why are Dhyana shlokas composed? This is only the reason to meditate upon the Lord. Now physically, when we are ready to chant a stotra, for example, physically we are ready. Maybe you sit on a mat, you have an image of Lord in front of you and so on. But for doing anything, we have to be physically and mentally. Both we have to be ready. Physically, okay, now if you are going to school, you carry a bag, you wear your uniform and go. That is physically. Mentally also, we have to be in the class. What the teacher is saying, we have to understand. So just merely sitting on the bench wearing a school uniform, carrying different books and school bag will not help. Mentally, we have to be present in whatever she. A person mentally ready. Okay, so we'll continue. So I'll just tell you in just now Dhyana shlokas. I suppose everyone will know. Shuklam Bharadaram. शांताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिरिध्यानगं तारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिरिध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथं मेघश्यामं वीतकौशेयवासं श्रीवत्साङ्गं कौस्तुभोद्भासिताङ्गं पुण्योपेतं पुण्डरीकायताक्षं विष्णुं वन्दे सर्वलोकैकनाथं सर्वलोकैकनाथं मेघश्यामं वीतकौशेयवासं श्रीवत्साङ्गं कौस्तुभोद्भासिताङ्गं पुण्योपेतं पुण्डरीकायताक्षं विष्णुं वन्दे सर्वलोकैकनाथं. So what is this? Wherein Bhishmacharya says, my pranams or my salutations to Lord Vishnu, who is sleeping on the serpent Adishesha, and from his navel sprouts a lotus has come out. That is, Brahma has been born. Then he has good limbs. Limbs are very big, very beautiful, very charming to look at. Then he resides in the heart of everyone. Then he destroys all our troubles, all the troubles of the samsara of this life. He Meghashyamam Pita Kausheya Vasam. Meghashyamam, he is blue as a cloud. That's why we call Lord Krishna or Vishnu as Meghashyamaha or Ghanashyamaha. He is blue as a cloud. And Pita Kausheya Vasam, Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, Rama, even if you look at a picture of them, you will see they are always clad in yellow clothes. Pitambaram, Pita Kausheya Vasam, all that is there in the heart. Srivatsangam, Kaustubhodbhasitangam. He has also a Kaustuba gem on his body, that is called the Kaustuba. Punyopetam Pundarikayataksham. He is always surrounded by holy people. You go to Vaikunta, all Vishnu devotees are only present there. They are all holy men. Pundarikayataksham, Pundarikayatakis. Pundarika meaning lotus. So lotus like eyes. Now usually for gods, what we say now, lotus is considered to be a very, you can say a very auspicious flower, wherein it is compared to the feet of the Lord as well as to the eyes. Now if ever you have seen a lotus petal, how is the shape of a petal, lotus petal? So now lotus, but to some extent if you see, the shape of our eyes is like a petal only. Whereas the Lord's eyes are so much, they are full, you can say nicely shaped like a lotus petal. That is why it's called Pundarikayataksham. Then how is the comparison done with the feet? The feet do not look like a lotus petal, right? as soft as a lotus petal. Now, if ever it happens, but especially in the case of lotus, if you don't frequently sprinkle it with water or so, immediately it gets withered away. Or you just touch it, so soft, it will get withered, right? So we have to be very careful when we handle lotuses and all. So so soft is the feet of the Lord. That is why we say Kamala Charanam, meaning the feet of the Lord, or the lotus feet of the Lord. That is why we say Kamala Charanam, meaning the feet of the Lord, or the lotus feet of the Lord. Vande Vishnum Sarvalokaikanaatham. So I bow down to this Vishnu, who is the Lord of all the three worlds. Then Sashanka Chakram Sakirita Kundalam. Shankachakra in his hand, a kirita, crown on his head, kundalam, earrings, sapita vastram, sarasi, and a kirita, crown on his head, kundalam, earrings, sapita vastram, sarasiru hekshanam. Sapita vastram, again one who has worn yellow clothes, sarasiru haksham, who has a crown and ear pendant. Sarasiru aksham, again Sarasiru is again lotus, aksham eyes, again who has lotus like eyes. Sahara vakshasthala is again lotus, aksham eyes, again who has lotus like eyes. Sahara vakshasthala shobikaustubam. Sahara vakshasthala, hara is like a long neck, or his chest, who is beautified, or it is very beautiful, having, because he has worn different kinds of necklaces. Kaustubhashriyam namami vishnam shirasa chaturbhujam. I bow down by my head down to you and pray to you. I offer my salutations to you. Then last, Chayayam parijadasya hema simhasanopani asinam ambudashyama mayatakshamalankritam chandrananam chaturbahum srivatsangita vakshasam Rukmani. So this shloka that is there, it just talks about Vishnu along with Rukmani and Satyabhama. Sri Devi, Bhudevi we say, who resemble, Rukmani resembles Sri Devi, goddess Mahalakshmi. Satyabhama resembles Bhudevi, that is goddess Earth. So Rukmani Satyabhama Abhyam Sahitam Krishna Mashriye. So Krishna resides besides with Rukmani and Satyabhama. The Parijata flower is very much dear to Lord Krishna. Hema Simham, gold crown, he sits on that. Asinam Ambudashyamam, Shyamaha, again we call Ghanashyamaha, blue as a cloud. Chandrananam Chaturbahum, Chandrananam, again like he is as cool or as beautiful as a Chandra. The moon is always considered, just literature or any poetry, prose poetry, moon is always considered as a symbol of beauty or coolness. Now we cannot look at the sun directly with our naked eye, whereas we can look at the moon, right? But sometimes in a dark night, you just look at the moon in the sky, it looks very beautiful. So moon is always considered to be a symbol of beauty. Chaturbahum, gem on his, Srivatsa mark on his heart or on his chest. Rukmani Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashriya. So basically these 5 dhyana shlokas, they just try to describe the physical form of the Lord. So now even when I give, now maybe I am not an expert to give you a very good description, but when I was telling you one thing, oh he has worn yellow clothes, he is as blue as a cloud, immediately a picture of Krishna or Vishnu gets developed in our minds, right? Okay, this is Vishnu, this is Krishna, I have to remember him and then chant the 100,000 names of Lord Vishnu. So this is the reason why dhyana shlokas are composed, to develop a picture of the Lord in our mind. So Lord also here says that without having any picture of the Lord in our mind. So Lord also here says that without having any form in our minds, we cannot develop, we cannot think on anyone properly. Therefore, we need some or the other form. Now many people will say, no, we have a photo at our homes, we can worship that. That is one thing. But what if you are not at home? Now even if when we have a photo, what if you're not at home? Now, even if when we have a photo, even if you're just looking at the photo and chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama, all through the 20 minutes or 30 minutes that you chant, it's not that with full focus, we are only remembering the Lord. Maybe you're looking at the photo for half an hour, but mentally are you focusing on that? No, we might be thinking about photo for half an hour, but mentally are you focusing on that? No, we might be thinking about something else also. So, therefore, these dhyana shlokas are composed for the reason that both physically and mentally we should be able to think upon the Lord. So, these are the 5 dhyana shlokas, and after these dhyana shlokas, now actually the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, they will they are told from the next verse onwards after the dhyana shloka. So, Bhishmacharya starts from here. I'll just share my screen. I have got a PDF for this. Later I'll share it on the group also. Now just everyone PDF. One thing you have to note that the meanings that are given, I'll also share it with you. It's from an external source only that I got it. So even though you note the meanings from this PDF, one thing you have to note is that some meanings. Now, even if you look at the Gita or the Vishnu, okay, like for example, Vishwam, one who pervades the whole world, Vishnu, and so on. So like this, only meanings are given in the PDF. Nobody will tell you the meanings in a story or a significant way. It is not told in this PDF. I'm going to share the PDF, original PDF, so that you just have the meaning of every word. But when we are discussing in the class, I will tell you the story. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Vishnave Namaha. So these three lines are usually chanted before we actually start reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama. Verse 1. Om Vishvam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krit Bhuta Bhridbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. So in verse number 1, we have 9 names of the Lord. You can see the breakup. English also, if anyone you cannot read Sanskrit, you can refer to this. So if anyone you cannot read Sanskrit, you can refer to this. So now we'll start looking at the names one by one. First is Vishwam. Vishwam, Vishnur, Vashatkaraha. First is Vishwam. So in the first word itself, now let us look at the meaning. Now this are taken from Shankaracharya. First word itself, now let us look at the meaning. Now this are taken from Shankaracharya Bhashya, so you can just have a look at it. Vishwam. Now, if you see, there are different meanings for Vishwam. Meaning is one, but from the original text, they have picked out different quotes. So that is also included here. For your reference, you can refer to this. Vishwasya, so that is also included here. For your reference, you can refer to this. Vishwasya Jagataha Karanattvena Vishwam Ityuchyate Brahma. So the definition is given in Sanskrit itself. It is absolutely fine if you don't understand the definition. But what I felt is it is always better if we look at the original part also. When we are looking at the story form, there is nothing original, so that we know, okay, something like this also exists, right? So Vishwasya Jagataha, meaning now if something is given in English, we understand it easily. Whereas if the definition is given in Sanskrit, we find it very complicated. Right? That should not be done. So the meaning is also anyways given in English. Vishwasya Jagataha Karanattvena, being that become world. Okay. So Brahman. Now because it is Shankaracharya's Bhashya, everywhere you have reference to this Brahman. Brahman is nothing but God. Brahman is nothing but Krishna. Brahman is nothing but the Supreme, and so on. So for Lord, Krishna, God, Supreme, instead of that, this Brahman has been used by Shankaracharya. That's it. That is called Vishwam or Vishwaha. This is one. Second definition, Parasmat Purushat Nabinnam Idam Vishwam Paramarthataha Tena Vishwamiti Abhidiyate Brahma. Meaning that universe is Brahman. This whole world is Vishnu only. That's why we say God is everywhere, we say, right? In simple terms, what we say. Same definition is told here, only in some complicated words. That's it. That means I am Lord, you are Lord, and every one of us, we think that we are Lord. So that is not different from Brahman. Now, though today we discriminate, saying that, okay, this is God, this is Krishna, this is Rama, this is the goddess. We are all human. This is God, this is Krishna, this is Rama, this is the goddess. We are all human beings, right? But as per philosophy or as per the Vishnu Sahasranama, the meaning of the word Vishwam is we are all also forms of the same God, because God has only created us. Therefore, there is nothing different from Brahman, there is nothing different from God and us. All of us are one and the same. So this, when we become aware of this, that is when philosophically or spiritually we reach high. When we become aware of this. But the sad thing is, today we are not aware of that. We look at each one of us. So you are a human being, I am a human being. That's why we fight with each other. We have physical fights. But if we realize that the opposite person is God only, if we regard everyone as God, and if the other person also regards us as God, we'll always respect and there'll always be peace everywhere. But unfortunately, we are not that much knowledgeable that we can regard it that way. So the main meaning of the word Vishwam, meaning that not only in the Lord temples or only in the heaven or so God exists. They have removed this belief. Everywhere, right from a small tree till any animal to a human being, everything is Vishwam, everything is a form of Lord Vishnu. That is what Bhishmacharya tells. So this is a philosophical meaning of the word Vishwam. Now there are a few stories behind this. What is this? Meaning of the word Vishwam. Now there are a few stories behind this. What is this? Now, as per now Vaishnavism, we have a story. Now we have different religious aspects: Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktism. So this story comes in Vaishnavism. So there was a man who was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and after many years, a child was born to him. Now, what did the child do? Now, after the age of 5 or 6, the boy, now because they belong to Vaishnavism also, now not only Vaishnavism, today everyone is learning, but especially people who belong to Vaishnavism, for them Vishnu was the sole Lord. So then at the age of 5 or 6, the father, he taught the Vishnu Sahasranama. He started teaching the Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishnur Vashatkar, he started chanting. So, but the thing that happened is, when he said Vishwam, the boy repeated Vishwam. When he said Vishnur, again the boy repeated Vishwam. Vashatkaraha, the father said, again the boy repeated Vishwam. So the father was surprised. He said, what is this? I am telling you the next. We have to learn the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu. You don't stick at just the first name. But the boy did not speak anything else. He just kept chanting Vishwam, 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 Vishwam. That's it. And this man got confused. He said, this boy is something mad. He is not fit to learn the Vishnu Sahasranama. Forget about this. I will marry another lady and beget another. But then he does the same thing. He says, no, something is wrong with my family, with the child, with his mother and everything. I will give them away. I'll send them both away. I'll marry a new woman, beget a new son, and then teach him all the Vedas, Stotras and everything, make him very knowledgeable. So then the man ends up marrying another woman and he begets another son. There he starts teaching that son also Vishwam, Vishnur, Vashatkaro and so on. But there it so happened that the child could not learn even one words. Now, whenever someone teaches us something, it is not that we can learn everything. Like a few people we are able to learn. Few people it said, no, I cannot learn, or it will not come, or I am not interested. Few people it said, no, I cannot learn, or it will not come, or I am not interested. Right? There can be any reason for this. So then the second wife that was there, the man had, and the second son, through her whom he begetted, the child was like, you can say, almost a useless character. He was not interested in anything, and he couldn't learn also. He was not interested in anything, and he couldn't learn also. It didn't come for him. Now again the man is confused. He said, I married the first boy, he is chanting only Vishwam, Vishwam, Vishwam. You ask him anything, he says just Vishwam. For that reason I married the second time, got a new son, but then got a second son, but then here this boy is not chanting anything. He's not interested. So then he goes and asks his priest, astrologers and all that. And there the person says that you go to your first son only, because you discarded your first family, your first wife and the first son. There is no use marrying a second child. And there the priest says he is far more knowledgeable than you. Reason being, Vishwam, the meaning is everything is in you, or Vishwam, the God who envelops the whole world, or everything around is God. This feeling the child has already developed in him. So he feels that there is no need for a second name at all. Therefore, the father got confused, thinking that, oh, I was so proud thinking that I know the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, but I did not know the meaning of even one. Whereas this boy, he just kept chanting just one name of the Lord, but he understood the meaning fully. Saying that Vishwam, everything is God around, every creature is God around. This is the highest form of knowledge. If I develop this quality, there is no need to do anything else, because I have understood everything is Vishwam. That is, everything is complete, everything is God alike. Or everything, not even alike, everything is God. Everyone around is God, so there is no need for this. Okay. So did everyone understand the meaning, how this boy interpreted Vishwam? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now there is one more story for this. Markandeya. Now I'll tell you the stories in short, otherwise we'll never be able to complete. The Markandeya, greatest devotee of Lord Shiva. His parents were greatest devotees of Lord Shiva. So then Shiva blessed the couple, saying that a child will be born to you, but his age will be less. So only for 14 years the child will live. Be born to you, but his age will be less. So only for 14 years the child will live. So
Hello, Lakshmi.
yes.
Hello, Lakshmi. Sorry to interrupt. Whatever the story is, please tell Lakshmi, because you are explaining very nicely. I mean, I can understand you respect Vishnu Sahasranama as well. So then please explain the stories also. It's very...
Yes, I'm going to explain with stories only. Otherwise, we cannot understand. I myself cannot understand otherwise. Right? Yeah. Okay. So, the second story that now when I am telling you these stories, please note that these all come in different Puranas or as per the Devacharya. Many other people like Parashara also, I told you the story last time. So these people, how through different stories or how different people have interpreted the name Vishwam, that is what is these stories. So now maybe tomorrow, now we are not so great souls, but still it might happen that maybe looking at this word Vishwam, I might interpret it in a different way. Okay, Vishwam, I might interpret it in a different way. Okay, Vishwam is world, so everything around is Lord. So I take it that way. This is one normal meaning when we look at it. But there can be different meanings for this. How each one interprets is different. So that is how when we have different stories for one name, this is how it has come, wherein different people have interpreted, they have had their own experiences, and that's how it has come, wherein different people have interpreted, they have had their own experiences, and that's how it has been included in our Puranas. Now Vishwam, another meaning is Markandeya. I told you Markandeya was his parents were devotees of Lord Shiva. For many years they did not have children. They prayed to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva says, I'll bless you with a child, but he'll be you can say only who, his age will be only 14 years. He will live only for 14 years. So this was one. He gave them even a second option, saying that otherwise I'll give you a child who's not that knowledgeable, who will be like almost a useless person. He just live, eat, sleep and repeat. That's it. Eat, sleep, repeat. He'll just lead his everyday life, but he'll live for a long time. So what kind of a son? Just spending their life and being useless. Instead of that, we'll take a son, even though he lives for a short period of time. Let him be a great devotee, let him do good things, let the world benefit from him, and so on. So like this child, Shiva blesses the couple with a child, with a boy. His name was Markandeya. He was a great devotee of Shiva and was Markandeya. He was a great devotee of Shiva and everything he used to do. And it so happened that all the practice, he was almost like a sage. So he himself had learned everything. He started teaching everything and so on. So at the age of 14 years, now Shiva was very happy, saying that, oh, such a great 14 years, now Shiva was very happy, saying that, oh, such a great knowledgeable person is there. Surely we should increase his life also, so that the world will be benefited from him. So he increases his life to 14 more years. Okay. So firstly, he was blessed with just 14 years of lifespan, but now still 14 years. So now 28 years of lifespan, Markandeya gets. Now it so happened that now this 14, what happened is, Shiva kept on feeling that no, this person is he's very knowledgeable, the world will benefit a lot from him, so I will keep increasing his age. So Markandeya keeps living for 14. The Lord keeps increasing, and today Markandeya is one of the Chiranjeevis, is still living till date. Now all of us also, now it doesn't happen in the case of all of us, so we don't know about this. Okay, now I'll live for 70 years, 80 years, 100 years, okay. Maybe now you can live till our grandchildren come in rare cases great grandchildren. More than that we cannot expect. But does it so happen that no, 5-6 generations down the lane have come, but still I am living? Maximum 3 or maximum 4. Till great grandchildren we can imagine. Very in rare cases it will be great, not more than that. But in the case of Markandeya, it so happened that Shiva kept increasing his lifespan so much so that now Markandeya started feeling that what is this? Everyone is coming, and now we also, if there are too many old people in the houses, what we say, oh, this person, 5 generations have passed, but still this person is alive. So then it's maybe we don't tell in front of the person, but then the person also starts feeling, I'm so old. But in general, only old people, they keep complaining, I'm causing trouble to you, I'm so old, when I'm going to die, I don't know, and so on. They start grumbling. So similarly, it happens in the case of Markandeya also. To die, I don't know, and so on. They start grumbling. So similarly, it happens in the case of Markandeya also. Though he was not dependent on anyone, but still he had this thought, now for how many generations I'm going to live? Shiva is just coming every time, he's just increasing my lifespan. But till date, even Markandeya is living. That's why he is one of the 7 Chiranjeevis. But then it so happened that now Markandeya, he was fed up with his life. Right? I'm doing good, everything is happening good, but for how long I'll live? So then Shiva says, no, you are a great sage, you are a great devotee, you have to be like an inspiration to all of them. So then what happens is that, so like this Markandeya started spending his life. So once it so happened that goddess Mahalakshmi, Markandeya as a small child. Now Markandeya was not married, but then what he does is that he sees this small girl about 3-4 years in the forest, and he saw that she was all alone. So then he brings the child to his house and keeps. And then there's no one to take care of the child, so Markandeya starts taking care of the child. He did not know that this is goddess Mahalakshmi. So once it so happened that Lord Vishnu, he comes there. Now originally Markandeya was a Shiva Bhakta, okay, but later he turned out to be a Vishnu Bhakta after this incident. Okay, what is this incident? The small girl is there. So then now in those times, marriage used to take place very early. See, now in those times, marriage used to take place very early. Sita got married at the age of 6. But now do not misinterpret this. When we say marriage, oh, does it mean that they believed in child marriage and all that? No. Whenever they found a suitable groom for the child, the girl or the boy, they used to married at the age of 12. But they begetted children after almost 10 years they lived together, 14 years in Vanavasa. So about only after 24 years of age, children were born to them. Almost old. That is when Sita, if you calculate her age, you will know it is almost at the age of about 30. Right? Children. So in those times, marriage was not associated with only begetting children and living a life. Two people coming together, if you found especially this used to happen in the case of royal families like Janaka, Dasharatha and so on. So they used to keep a Swayamvara. They find a proper, now a Swayamvara, now why they used to start this? Also we know Swayamvara, one who breaks the bow. So many kings had come, nobody could do that. So we never know for how many days it will go on, how many years it will take till the condition is fulfilled. Sita was lucky enough, Janaka was lucky enough that Rama came there, he broke the bow immediately and Sita got married. That is another thing. Even in the case of Draupadi, if you see, the fish was in the water, seen in the water, looking at the reflection of the fish, one who shoots an arrow and to the eye of the fish, he will be my guru. Now if we keep such conditions, now in today's times what happens is, maybe at the age of 25 or so, we start looking for marriage. Okay, you are my family, what you have, what is your salary, where you live, do you have your own house? We look at all this. Family, what you have, what is your salary, where you live, do you have your own house? We look at all this. Okay, everything is suitable. Sometimes we don't even go to the astrologer and say, okay, all this is fine, we'll get married, right? It is very, very easy. But in those times, they had conditions like this. So we don't know when the condition will be fulfilled. It may take 1 year, it may take even 10 years. So they used to start from an early. When the condition will be fulfilled. It may take 1 year, it may take even 10 years. So they used to start from an early age. But biologically or physically, children would be born only after the legal age, only after the certain age. Because in the case of Sita also, if you see, if she gets married at the age of 6, she has not even attained puberty. If she gets married at the age of 6, she has not even attained puberty. So there is no question of begetting children at all. So Rama also, is also at the age of 20, he has also not attained puberty. So these things we have to note. Why I am telling you all this is that we should not think that something is happening, oh it is so old fashioned, Rama believed in child marriage, Sita believed in child marriage and so on. We should not look in such a module. In those times, things were different. Why things were being done? So that doesn't mean that every one of us, we start getting married at the age of 5 and by the age of 10 you have children. That doesn't happen so, right? So these are certain reasons to have a look at all this. Now again, coming back to the Markandeya story. So the point is, whenever we interpret something like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas and so on, we have to keep our eyes and mind very, very open. There will be 5 people. Now, if someone just looks and reads the story, okay, at the age of 6, Sita got married. At the age of 6, my child goes to school. At the age of 12, Sita Rama said, from today I'll stop worshipping Rama. Rama is not God at all. If we look with this aspect, without thinking, without knowing the logic behind it, but they will not go beyond and think, okay, what was the condition? Was there a Swayamvara? Today's times, we don't have a Swayamvara. No conditions like this. Secondly, when were children actually born to the thing? All this, we don't go into that. Okay, first marriage at the age of 6, marriage at the age of 12, done. The topic is closed there. So half knowledge is always harmful. We have to look at the topic from all sides and then only come to a conclusion. So this is my point. Further on, now coming back to the story, Markandeya is there. So 4 or 5 years of age. So there Markandeya says, girl, I found her in the forest. So I've just bought for how long? So then I have to find a family to whom I can give in marriage. They will take care of the family. So, but he was not very serious about it. He just has such thoughts come in his mind. So at that time, there Vishnu comes. Vishnu is an old man. Vishnu is of the 4 or 5 year old girl to get married. So Vishnu says, no, I have come to marry your daughter. Whom you treat this girl as your own daughter. So will you give it to me? Will you give her in marriage? Markandeya says, you're such an old man. How can I give you? She's just 5 years. You're all so old. How can you marry? But then the girl child, she starts getting very happy. She was very happy looking at Vishnu and she goes and tells Markandeya, no, I will marry this man only. Markandeya is shocked. He says, what this child is saying? But then he ignores, saying that no, the child is ignorant, child does not know anything, I'll forget it. But no, for the child, Vishnu appeared to be a small boy of her age. But no, For the child, Vishnu appeared to be a small boy of her age, almost her age or a bit younger, a bit elder to her. But for Lord Vishnu, for Lord Markandeya, it happened that Vishnu was old. So here again, why I am telling you the story is that Vishwam. Vishwam meaning for everyone, the Lord. The story is that Vishwam. Vishwam meaning for everyone, the Lord changes his own form. If you look at God everywhere, for everything, if you have that feeling that Lord is everywhere, I want to achieve something, Lord changes their form as needed. So here for the child, again then the child gives, then the boy says okay. Now there is a story gives, then the boy says okay. Now there is a story behind this wherein that now whenever we look for marriage also there are certain conditions. So then Markandeya says okay, if you want you marry her, okay, you feel and she also likes to stay with you, that is fine. But then she doesn't do anything. She does not know anything. She's just 5 years old. So she okay. And here there is a very funny story is that she knows to cook. She knows how to make food, but she doesn't know how much salt has to be added. So indirectly it means that she doesn't know to cook food, right? Salt is a basic element. So this may be people say in a joking way also, but this Markandeya has told this. The reference comes in the Puranas, wherein Markandeya tells Vishnu that I knows, but she doesn't know how much to add salt. This so much salt has to be added. This so much salt has to be added. That she does not know. Lord Vishnu says, no problem. I will live without even having salt. That is fine. But you give your daughter in hand to me. That is why we have a temple in South India called the Uppili Appan temple. Up illada appan, that is uppa, salt in Tamil. Illai, or you offer in that temple that will have no salt, to signify this story of Markandeya and his daughter who was a form of Mahalakshmi and Vishnu coming and marrying her. So this is one more story of Markandeya. Further, now this is just a side story, not very much related to Vishwam, this name. Just giving you a few references of Markandeya. So now once it so happened that now Vishnu has come in front of him. So now he prays to Vishnu saying that Shiva is not listening to my prayers. So now Vishnu, you at least do something. You take away my life now. What I am living for so long. What else I have to do? I have done all good. Now I am fed up. Now for so many centuries together I am living. I am seeing almost 10 generations down the lane have come and still I am living. Will come. And this time Pralaya's destruction. Destruction will come, everything will get destroyed, and then again you will get a new birth. So you will die then. Now Markandeya, very foolishly here actually, he asks a question to Vishnu saying that what is Pralaya? What exactly happens in Pralaya? Now all of us also question to Vishnu saying that what is Pralaya? What exactly happens in Pralaya? Now all of us also we have heard about destruction, or we have heard about Pralaya, right? What is Pralaya? Pralaya is destruction. Now, but if you forget about Pralaya, destruction and all that, we hear about disasters, natural disasters. We have heard about Pralaya, right? What is Pralaya? Pralaya is destruction. Now, but if you forget about Pralaya, destruction and all that, we hear about disasters, natural disasters that come in. So wherein mass destruction takes place, houses are uprooted, rains, this, that, everything. I think in Chennai also those people who are living there, cyclone effect, this, that. But maybe we look in TVs, we look in newspapers, we look at the pictures and so on, all that is fine. But until and unless we ourselves experience that, we cannot say 100%, okay, mass destruction has taken place. But have we ever experienced that, okay, maybe we ourselves are uprooted or maybe our building. We just see that, looking at that, we make descriptions, right? But until and unless we ourselves experience, we will not know exactly what is destruction. So here, Markandeya questions, what is this destruction? Everyone is talking about Pralaya. Vishnu says, okay, I will show you, come. And they go to Badrikashrama, Badrinath, today is Badrinath. So till date, Markandeya, because he is a Chiranjeevi. Now in Badrikashrama, we know, we have the forms of Narayana, form of Vishnu in the form of Nara and Narayana, who are meditating there or who are present there. So Markandeya meditates on the form of Nara and Narayana. So there is where Nara and Narayana give him darshana in the Badrikashrama temple. What does Pralaya show me? Nara Narayana says, okay, we will show you. Vishnu shows whole world bursts about, mountains burst, rivers start flowing, everything is destroyed. So everywhere it's just water. Water, 70% earth is composed, is full of water, right? So everywhere everything is destroyed, what remains is only and only water. Now Markandeya, what is destruction? Lord Vishnu gave me a very practical example. He showed me an experiment rather than theoretical knowledge. So then he becomes now Markandeya does not know what to do. He says, okay, now maybe I have to die this way, or Lord Vishnu is fulfilling my wish to die this way, that I have to swim in this Pralaya. So he keeps swimming in the water because everything has got destroyed. And then Markandeya keeps swimming. Now when he was swimming, what he saw is that he reaches at one point wherein he sees Lord Krishna, very small baby form of Lord Krishna, sleeping there. And baby Krishna who's sleeping on a small leaf. That is why we have Kararavindena Padaravindam Mukha on a small leaf. That is why we have Kararavindena Padaravindam Mukharavinde Viniveshayantam Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. Balam Kundashtakam, first verse. Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. I worship the small form of Balamukunda, that is Lord Krishna, who sleep on Vatasya Patrasya, Vataha, Balamukunda, that is Lord Krishna, who sleep on Vatasya Patrasya, Vataha, people tree, leaf, Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam, who sleeps on the people tree. You would have seen the picture of Lord Krishna, baby Krishna sleeping on a people leaf, that is Vatasya Patrasya Puteshayanam. So there, Markandeya sees this form of Krishna there, saying that at the end of Markandeya sees this form of Krishna there, saying that at the end of Pralaya, Lord Vishnu says that I will be present. So he is present in this form as a baby. For everything, creation starts from a baby only, right? It's a very small child and then slowly develops. So here, Markandeya is shocked to see this. And then he says, he sees the Lord, immediately recognizes, oh Vishnu, you have attained such a small form, now you are a small baby. And there, Lord Vishnu was seen sucking his toe. The small children, small babies, we know they keep sucking their toes, right? We don't know what happens, but then they keep sucking their toe and the mother keeps removing it, don't do. So Markandeya again he questions here, saying that why are you sucking your toe? That is there the Lord, they find refuge. My legs are very soft as lotus. Some say they are like sweet dishes. I don't know what it is. So I'm just sucking my toe and seeing how it tastes. So this is a very funny answer that he gives. But, and saying so, what happens is that it was Pralaya, everything is getting destroyed. What now? Again, to cause a new universe. Vishnu is known for creation and maintenance, right? Brahma is known for creation, maintenance. Now, little bit of creation has started. Vishnu is in a form of a small baby. Vishnu himself is in a form of a baby. Now, the next step is he has to create everything, all of us and so on, all trees, animals and so on. So now what happens is that he swallows Markandeya also. He swallows Krishna, who's sleeping there. And there inside the stomach of the baby also, he sees the entire world, he sees trees, he sees everything that we have in normal life. There he sees everything, mountains, temples, his own place where he was living. He sees himself also there. So now he didn't understand. He said, outside I saw everything was destroyed. How can I see the outside world? Outside I saw everything was destroyed. How can I see the outside world also inside your stomach? So there Vishnu says, this is Vishwam. Meaning everything that you see around you is present in me, and you yourself are also present in me. So this is Vishwam. Everything around is Lord. If inside us also is Lord, outside us also is Lord, inside Vishnu also. If inside us also is Lord, outside us also is Lord, inside Vishnu also. So it is like he has encompassed everything. So this is one more definition of Vishwam, or why the name Vishwam goes about is because Markandeya was shown the Vishwam, the whole world inside the stomach of Lord Vishnu. And that is by, so Vishnu, he believes by, I try to show you through example that everything is encompassed in me, everything you will find inside me. Okay, so this is the definition of Vishwam. Did everyone understand?
Lakshmi?
Tell.
Can I share a little something here?
Yes, please.
See, for this example, like giving the explanation that suppose a pot full of water, you are keeping it immersed in the water. Then the water is outside, inside, and in and through the pores of the pot also.
Correct.
The same way, the Lord is like in and through and up all around.
Inside everywhere. Correct. Yes. So this is a very inside everywhere. Correct. Yes. So this is a very simple example that we can understand simply.
Yeah, so immediately like even a small aged children also can understand. So.
Correct. So this is the meaning of the word Vishwam. Okay. Now, next question that comes to our mind is, what if I chant this name Vishwam? Now for every name of the Vishnu Sahasranama, there is a Phalashruti. It's not needed even if you cannot chant the 1,000 names also, you stand one name. So this is Vishwaya Namaha. Note this if you want. Vishwaya Namaha is a name that we have to chant. And if we chant this name, what happens is Vishwaya Namaha. Okay. So this is the name for the first. This is the story for the first name. My God, 41.
Phala, you said Lakshmi, please.
The entire world will be happy. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. So mainly this now, all of us, though We people say, no, I'm very selfless, I always think about others. Ultimately, we are all selfish people. We will think for our own good, right? You go to buy you go to the market. You have two people with you. Say, no, whatever you want, you buy. I will just stand. But when something comes wherein you want to buy something for yourself, do we always regard someone else's choice? No, say no. Okay, you give me your choice, correct? So this is the same thing that happens. How much ever we say we are selfless, at the end of the day, we think about ourselves for our own good. But one thing we have to realize that only the world and people around us and things around us are happy, only then we also will be happy. So even though we cannot make ourselves happy, but we cannot even though we cannot make the world happy, at least by chanting this name Vishwaya Namaha with full faith and devotion, the world around me will always be happy. People around us are happy, we are surrounded with positive people, we also will be happy. If we are surrounded with evil people and negative people always poking at us or always talking about negative things, we'll also always be in a depression state. So So for us to be happy, the world also should be happy, people around us should be happy, things should be good. For this, Vishwaya Namaha, this is the name. Okay, now we start with the second name finally. Now second is Vishwam Vishnur. Now second is Vishwam Vishnur. Now here there are many more names. Vishati iti Vishwam Brahma. Now the same thing I told you, stories that are there. For this you have the references from the original Shankara Bhashya. Second is Vishnu, one who pervades. Second is Vishnu, one who pervades. Viveshti Vapnoti iti Vishnu, one who pervades with everything. One who enters his creation. Now why Vishnu is the name? Now we know Brahma is known for creation and Vishnu is known for creation has taken place. Now whenever we buy something, only buying and keeping the thing does not help. Frequent servicing of the thing is important, right? So the servicing part is done by Vishnu. That is very, very important. That is why the one who does the servicing part, one who maintains the creation, one who enters the creation. That's what is mentioned in Vishati, the particular thing. Next step, we have to preserve it always. So one whose job starts after creation, that is Vishnu. Now for this also there is a story. Now for Vishnu, it is said that there is a Gopika Stri. Gopikas in Mathura, Vrindavana houses. But it so happened that now Krishna's work was only stealing from everywhere. So then they used to all wait for Krishna to come. But then what he did was always he was engrossed in stealing everything. So they used to wait for Krishna to come, but if he stole, then they used to run to Yashoda and tell her, no, he's stealing everything and so on. Is that once it so happened that there is a small girl, one of the Gopikas, her daughter, small girl. So she is waiting for Krishna to come. You imagine her like Radha, right? So she is waiting for Krishna to come and she waits, no, Krishna should come and meet me, Krishna should come and meet me. So they are like small friends or so. So they are waiting. Now Krishna was a person, a few people also, we look at them and we feel happy. Now Krishna was a person, a few people also, we look at them and we feel happy. The person may not do anything, just by being around the person we feel happy or we feel very positive, we feel, oh, this person should come and spend time with me and so on. So like this, Krishna was also in the same rule. So this girl, she used to wait for Krishna to come, saying that, no, Krishna, you please come and so on. So there one fine day Krishna comes to their house. But now what happened is that she was very happy. Till the point Krishna came, she was very happy. Before Krishna came, she was waiting for him and so on. The minute he came, he was not a person who comes to her house and say, okay, I'll come and talk to you, how are you and so on. He will not come away. So the point till where before he came, everything was happy. That is before creation or just at the point of creation, everything was fine. But so this is like you have to compare it that way. So the Gopika Sri, what she does is that she is fine. The small girl, the small Gopika, she is very happy till Krishna comes. Krishna should come to my house and so on. But the minute he steals the butter and goes away, she gets angry, saying that he came just to steal my butter. So much of efforts I've collected the butter and kept. He just came to do that and he went away from there. So this Vishnu, the name that comes is when he steals also. So then she gets angry for a certain time. But then again they are all pleased with Krishna for a certain time. But then again they are all pleased with Krishna saying that, and then they run to Yashoda and so on. They run to Yashoda, and then Yashoda, again we know the story, Damodara, she ties him with that with the rope that is there. The rope falls short. Again she keeps tying. and finally happens is the rope falls short. So then we realize there Yashoda, though she did not realize at that point, later she realizes that, oh, this is really Vishnu, who's the Lord of the universe, who's needed for creating, who's needed for maintenance, and I'm trying this rope around his neck, around his waist. How ignorant I am. Second, Krishna eats mud as a child, and then he opens his mouth, shows Vishnu, shows the entire world to Yashoda. Of course, she forgets this. Only for the 2 or 3 minutes when Krishna showed the world to her, she remembers, and then she forgets everything. But that point again, she does not forget. And for those 2-3 minutes, she's like in a trance. For those 2-3 minutes, she's like in a trance state. She doesn't know what to do. So there again, so these incidents wherein after stealing the butter, the Gopika Sris used to complain, saying that your son did this, your son did that. They used to run behind Krishna with sticks and all. But immediately, the next minute, he used to say something, or immediately by looking at them, they used to. But immediately, the next minute, he used to say something, or immediately by looking at them, they used to all again fall in love with him. So this is Vishnu, wherein we cannot get angry at a person for long, or wherein the one who is like, you can say, who's very much needed for maintenance, or without whom we cannot survive. So that is this name Vishnu. So I'm giving a life example of these Gopika Stris and all. So, or maybe you can consider an example of our own everyday relations, family relations. We get angry maybe on a few people, but that doesn't mean that okay, from today onwards, lifelong, I'm not going to talk with you, all our relationship is cut. We don't say that, right? We get angry for some time, but then that person is very much needed in our lives. Without that, this is reference that comes here, and then so this is a meaning of the word Vishnu, saying that though through Krishna Leela or through any other avatara also, though we feel that okay, for some time I don't need all this, or I don't need a particular person, but still okay, for some time I don't need all this, or I don't need a particular person, but still the ultimate truth is He is the only one who's taking care of this universe. He is the only one who's causing me happiness. Because of Him I'm happy. That is the name of this word, or that is the meaning of this word, Vishnu. Okay, so this word Vishnu, or you can say like all pervasive. This word Vishnu, or you can say like all pervasive, pervaded from all sides. So Vishwam and Vishnu are somewhat similar, but Vishwam, when we say, you have to get reference, or you have to talk a lot about the universe, with regards to the universe. That's why we have the Markandeya story and all. Whereas in the case of Vishnu, even in our everyday life, someone is pervasive, meaning because only if this person is there, we can survive happily. Only if this thing is there, I can be happy. So the importance of something, or importance of person, that is this Vishnu. So however a person may trouble, or however we have, we don't like something, like in the case of the Gopikas, Sri Krishna happy, and then that is the nature of the Lord, that is the nature of Krishna. So the meaning of the word Vishnu is like all pervasive, or one who is very much needed for maintenance, without whom we cannot survive. That is this Vishnu. So the name here that we have to chant is Vishnave Namaha. And what is the Palashruti if we chant this name? Everyone to the story, in spite of his stealing. Now Krishna was day one. Now Rama, if you see, he did not do anything on his own. He did not do any kind of mischiefs. He just kept obeying. Whether he was right or wrong, he just kept obeying. But for Krishna, you see, from day one he is stealing. Everything, Vastraharanam, Gopika Sri, in the Srimad Bhagavatam you get a reference, Vastraharanam, steals the clothes of the Gopikas. So from day one he is doing some other thing, he is doing all kinds of mistakes, but in spite of that, even till date, we are worshipping Krishna, we are talking about the good of Krishna. Even when we say that Krishna steals, we don't look at him, he's a robber, he's a thief. Even when we say that Krishna steals, we don't look at him, he's a robber, he's a thief. No. We call him good names and look at him with a very loving aspect, or with a godly aspect. This quality is not there with every one of us, right? Either you're bad, you're good, you're good. But this is one person, or this is one Lord, who in spite of having, bad, but in spite of having a few qualities like stealing, or maybe fighting, like we have Chanura, Kamsa and so on. So or even in the Mahabharata you see so much of things he does, like cheating. Not very direct cheating. Best example, Urbangam, Duryodhana's incident, wherein he tells Bhima that he don't follow his thigh breaks. So Krishna, though he did not, sometimes he had to break rules also, but in spite of all that, people, till they talk good about the Lord. That is this significance of this name, Vishnave Namaha. Okay, next name. So Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaraha. Vashatkaraha is the third. Vashatkaraha is the third name. Let's look at that. Now this again is from the Shankara Bhashya. Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya, you have these definitions. Vashatkaraha. Yaduddeshenadhvare vashat kriyate sa vashatkaraha. Now, Vare vashat kriyate sa vashatkaraha. Now, vashatkaraha meaning all the sacrifices that we do, the mantras that we chant during Vedic rituals and so on that we do, they are the offerings, they are made by uttering the words of Vishnu, Vashatkaraha. Yajño vai Vishnuhu. This is the form of yajna, or the different rituals that we do as per the Yajurveda mantras we chant. They are all the yajna that we do, that's all a worship, or that's a form of Vishnu. Yajño vai Vishnuhu, that's the saying. So Vashatkaraha is like a synonym for yajna. So one who has assumed the form of a sacrifice, or one who sacrificed yajna, it is this Lord Vishnu. So always Vishnu need not be in the form of an idol, of image or a photo. Even the sacrifices that we do, or those who follow the practice of karma kanda, we do different sacrifices, pujas, go to temples and so on, chant different stotras, mantras. That is, we follow practice of karma kanda. So chant different stotras, mantras. That is, we follow practice of karma kanda. So that karma kanda, Vishnu is also a form in that. He assumes a form of a sacrifice. So that is yajño vai Vishnu. Now for this, there is again a story. There is again a story for this, wherein Duryodhana. Now this story comes in the Dutavakyam written by, it doesn't come directly in the Mahabharata. This story comes in Dutavakyam. Dutavakyam is a Sanskrit drama written by Bhasa. We have many Sanskrit poets. Kali poet is Bhasa. So he writes mainly stories about, he has written a few plays on Ramayana, and he has written a few plays on Mahabharata. In that one is this Dutavakyam, wherein Lord Krishna is sent as a Duta. If you know the Mahabharata story, you have an incident wherein Lord Krishna, he goes as a messenger to the relations that we have. We also send our, from this country, external affairs. We have a Ministry of External Affairs, or we send one person as an ambassador to represent our country and so on. So similarly here also, Krishna goes from the side of Pandavas to again have a friendly relations to Kauravas, saying that you do one thing, that we can even avoid also maybe equal division of kingdom, equal division of power, wealth and so on. We can also have a discussion that way and end. We can live happily, we can avoid the war. Duryodhana was not in a state of that. So what here Duryodhana, so before Krishna was coming, now Duryodhana was a person, though he is an evil-minded person, we have to also respect his mind. Respect his mind in the sense is, he was very wise, very intelligent, and he knew how was Krishna. He was a one who used to learn from his experiences very well. Now how I'll tell you. Now Krishna, we know his stories. Right from day one, he is into treachery or cheating. So we don't know how he will cheat and go, all of us. So cheating. So we don't know how he will cheat and go, all of us. So Duryodhana, he tells everyone, before Krishna comes, he tells everyone, Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya, Vidura, everyone sitting there, he tells, anything let that Krishna speak, nobody will say anything until I open my mouth. So Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya, everyone, though they are all gurus quite elder, and I open my mouth. So Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya, everyone, though they are all gurus quite elder to him, so they say, yes, as you speak, we'll do. Now why so? Because Duryodhana was such a person. Even Dhritarashtra was a king, but people started obeying Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra was just like a puppet who was playing in the hands of Duryodhana. That's it. Only difference was Duryodhana did not sit as a tune, sit on the earth. That's it. Only difference was Duryodhana did not sit as a tune, sit on the throne. Officially he was not the king, but he was only the king. He was telling Dhritarashtra, and his father did the same things. So everyone was afraid of Duryodhana. He said yes. Now this Duryodhana, if you see, was such a fool. He said that in Tamil usually we have this phrase. He says that do not listen to that Tamarai, meaning the lotus-eyed one. Tamarai, lotus, Kandan eyes. Saying that let the person come, let the Krishna come, nobody will listen to that lotus-eyed one. Even while he was criticizing, talking bad about Krishna also, Duryodhana said lotus-eyed one. Do we ever tell our enemy lotus-eyed one? So this is the importance of gods, or you can say not only gods, it also start praising us. One more example from the Ramayana, Shurpanaka. When she describes about Rama and Lakshmana to Kharadoshana after cutting the nose, Taruna Urupa Sampannau, Sukumarau, Mahabalau, Pundarika Vishalakshau, Chira Krishna, Janambadau. Duryodhana does the same thing here. So he says that nobody will listen to that lotus-eyed one when he comes here apart from me. But it so happened that, so they all said, okay, of respect, let him come, let him say something and go, I will drive him out properly. So Krishna comes there, and as a messenger he comes there. And then he comes and he goes away. All that happens. So then it so happened that everyone stood up. When Krishna came, automatically they stood up. Now Duryodhana is blazing with anger. Once Krishna goes away, he is blazing with anger, saying that, why did you do that? So then Vidura calls him and tells him that, you were the first person who stood up, and looking at you, we all stood up, thinking that our king is standing and you stood up. So Duryodhana said, no, I did not stand up at all, I did not stand up at all. He argues. Later he thinks and realizes that, oh, I stood up first. So he did not do this physically, but mentally. This is Vashatkaraha, meaning that even in our everyday actions. Now here, Vashatkaraha, though it means sacrifices, even in our everyday actions also God is present. We don't know, many times we do actions without our knowledge, but Vashatkaraha, God makes us do that. So whenever now if I am speaking something, if you are listening to me, it has been God who has allowed us to listen. Right? But in every action that we do, Vishnu pervades inside us. Only if he wills, it can happen. If he doesn't will, it will not happen. Many times it happens that we take a pen in hand, but then the pen does not work. Our hands do not move. They become very hard. Right? Pen is there, hand is there, book is there. They become very hard. Right? Pen is there, hand is there, book is there, paper is there, everything is there, but I cannot write even one word because thoughts are not coming in my mind. Right? So that 1 second, if that thought doesn't come in the mind, what is the use of the pen, paper, hand and so on? So similarly here also what happens is, many times we don't realize. Only if he wills, things will happen. So what happens is, many times we don't realize. Only if he wills, things will happen. So Vashatkaraha, the meaning is that he is the all controller, one who controls all our actions. So be it in the form of sacrifices, you do any sacrifice, you chant his names, anything, only if he wills, it will happen. If he does not will, it will not happen. So in the case of Duryodhana also, if he does not will, it will not happen. So in the case of Duryodhana also, what happens is that he says, he stood up by himself. Now just 5 minutes we'll take before we complete this and then we'll stop. I know it's 10 almost, just 5 minutes. So I hope it is okay, right, for everyone? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very interesting. We don't know.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. So it continues. So Duryodhana stands. Duryodhana says, no, I don't stand up, He just keeps arguing. But then Krishna tells, Vidura, who was present there, tells her, and as you are advised us that as I do, you have to do. You stood up, we thought everyone also should stand up. And that's when we all stood up. So here, it is like God wills how the actions have to take place. We are none in front of him. So then Duryodhana also he realizes, I don't know how I stood up, but just looking at that person, I stood up. Now there is one more significance. Once it's so now Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu, if you know the story of Narsimha Avatara, Hiranyakashipu had tried what not to kill his son Prahlad. He throws him from a mountain, he maybe tries to burn him, he tries to kill him, everything he does. But nothing happens to Prahlada every time he's saved. So one fine day he is fed up. He calls Prahlad. What is a person, what stops you from all these dangers? What not I have done to kill you? You yourself tell me what should I do to kill you? Right? So then there Prahlada, which father will talk like this to a son? So this itself shows the dangers that were there, or you can say the type of sins that people have committed. Today when we complain about Kali Yuga, sins that people have committed. Today when we complain about Kali Yuga, all the vices and sorrows, if we look at it, we feel that, it's very, very happy. Today we have just mere disputes and arguments between people, nothing more than that. In previous times, one's own father has tried to kill their son so many times, and even speaking like this, why you are not getting killed, right? At least today we are free from all those dangers, so we have to be blessed. Why you are not getting killed, right? At least today we are free from all those dangers, so we have to be blessed. Whenever people talk about Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga, this is the Satya Yuga, even before the Satya Yuga story, that is a Narasimha Avatara. And then the Lord himself had to come. At least today we are in a safe place to live in. So again, coming back to the story, so then Prahlada, safe place to live in. So again, coming back to the story, so then Prahlada, and then Hiranyakashipu asked him, don't you feel bad that so many times I am trying to kill you, but still you are chanting the names of Lord Vishnu, you are still being happy. What is the reason for this? I am only suffering here, I am trying to kill you, and I don't have peace of mind at all, you are not getting killed also. So then what is the secret of your happiness? So they are getting killed also. So then what is the secret of your happiness? So there Prahlada says that, Shasta Vishnor Asheshasyaha. Now this line, it's a full shloka, I'm just telling you one phrase. Shasta Vishnor Asheshasyaha. The meaning is that this verse that is there, it has been quoted innumerable times by Shankaracharya, by common in all the commentaries. Many times they have used it many times, meaning Shasta Vishnu Rasheshasya. Now what is the meaning of Shasta? Now in South India, especially in Kerala, another name for Ayyappa, Lord Ayyappa, is Shasta, meaning the one who controls, but another name for Vishnu is also Shasta. So inner controller, Shasta Vishnu Risheshasya. So Prahlada says that I don't consider anything that you do as you are doing something, or you are Hiranyakashipu is causing trouble to me. He says no. He says Vishnu is only inside you, he is controlling you, he is provoking you to cause trouble to me, and he is also inside me, he is provoking me to chant his names and to surrender to him. So nothing is there for you. Shasta Vishnu Rasheshasya. He is a controller, that is, he is Vashatkaraha. He is present and inside, he is present inside all of us. So there is no question for blaming each other or to not have peace. So I don't feel bad at all that my father is doing this to me or he's trying to kill me. No, because the same Vishnu is present inside you, same Vishnu is present inside me. So that is the only reason. So here Prahlada, in spite of his own father torturing him and suffering him so much, he has been so learned. This is because all thanks to Narada. When he was in his mother's womb, he had been taught all these things by Narada. He used to listen, and that's how bhakti developed. You have to be a devotee, be like Bhakta or like Hanuman, and so on. So here Prahlada, he says that the inner controller. So the rather meaning of Vashatkara is one who controls, one who is present everywhere in our everyday actions also. So here the name Vashatkaraya Namaha, that is the third name of the Lord. Vashatkaraya Namaha. Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaraha. So this name that we chant, Vashatkaraya Namaha, it is for perfect success everywhere. So whatever we do for having success in all our everyday activities, for this Vashatkaraya Namaha, the third name is chant. Okay, so third name is chant. Okay, so